Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kadara Woman podcast, the podcast dedicated to amplifying the often overlooked success stories of remarkable African women who are barrier breakers, status quo challengers, and change makers around the world. I'm your host, Lola Harris. And thank you for tuning in to the second part of my conversation with Yetunde Shorters. If you haven't listened already, be sure to check out the first part of our conversation. In today's episode, we pick up where we left off and learn more about how Yetunde put her plans into action as she morphed into the woman she is today. Listen in to the rest of our conversation to learn how she found her radical purpose, where she helps women build purpose-centered brands, and how she created the life she truly loves. And I'd love to hear your perspective on what is purpose and how that's different from passion.
Right.
Or is it one and the same?
Nope, not the same. So purpose is simple. You pull up the dictionary. Purpose is the thing something was created for. The thing something was created for, and how you use it. That's purpose. Like, what is this thing created for? A chair. The purpose of a chair is for you to sit on it. You can use a chair as a door holder. Doesn't make it a door holder. It's still a chair.
That is true.
Right? You can sit on a table. Doesn't make it a chair. It's a table that you're using as a chair. So when you think about human beings, everything, even the thing that you think doesn't have a purpose, has a purpose. Like, just accept that. If you can accept that. Now the thing that the purpose is supposed to, whatever the purpose is, can change. I mean, can be very varied based on person, but everyone has a purpose. And your purpose at this point may be to discover stuff. It's not always like definitive. Okay, now you're going to be a pastor. Like, however, there's so many people that have the gift of words that, that I feel like some people get pulled in. So maybe I can be a pastor. Like, there's ways you can do your ministry. That doesn't always it's not always pastoral.
That's true.
However it is. And so purpose is the thing something was created for. Passion is, I always think of passion as something irrational. Passion is like, I will put you out of the way to get this thing done. It'll set you on fire. It will burn through stuff because it has to get to where it's getting to. And so I think the combination of passion with purpose is what just sets you up, where you're like, I know where I'm going and I'm going to mow through everything to get to it. And that's the combination. And so they're different. Purpose is more calm, clear, intentional. Passion is a little more irrational, because it's like, it's not a thinky thing. If you think about it as a person, it's someone that's like, I want to go through that wall, and I'm going to push that wall down to get it. And purpose is like, all right, we have a hammer. We're going to knock on that wall to knock it off. And so that's the combination. And
so there's a happy medium where both of them can even. That's
right. When you have passion for that purpose, it's fire, literally.
I love it.
Like something that has a direction. So now you can you can direct the passion in the path of the purpose. No, I think one of the lessons I try to teach when people get into confusion about personal branding, because that's what it is. There's a lot of introverts out there that are like, oh my God, I don't want the spotlight on me. And they're like freaking out. I'm like, okay, first of all, calm down. Like, it's not that serious. Second of all, it ain't about you. And so I always like this thought of being in a dark room with 100 people. And in that room, there's 40 people that feel like they're there for a reason. They don't know why. And you're also in that room, pitch black. And then the spotlight comes on. Now imagine that spotlight on you. Two things can happen. You're like, shut that light off now. Or you realize in that moment, I am in the spotlight so that those 40 people can see me, because I'm here to help them. And I can walk out of that room with those 40 people.
Ooh.
And what happens is that spotlight comes on. People are like, okay, my God, shut off the lights. Or they're like, I see the spotlight, but I want those 60 people. And you're out here leaving your 40 people by themselves. So that's the analogy I like to use. When you think about the spotlight is on you so that those you're meant to serve can see you. It's not for you to dance in. And when you think about your personal brand in terms of consistently being in media, publicity, getting the light on you, it's so that you can get in front of more people that can see you. So get that publicity, get that feature, get that partnership, get on that podcast. because one or two people who can change the world might be listening to that podcast or that watching that show, who you're supposed to speak to specifically. And
Wow.
so the spotlight is on you so that they can see you. And so think of yourself as the lighthouse that attracts those that need to come to shore. And that's what people are afraid of, right? You talk about the mastery, that's what people are afraid of, because now you have to do the work. And I remember distinctly me deciding I don't want to do the work. I remember this was years ago. I remember like, yeah, no, that's too much. That's too much responsibility, like, but it keeps coming back. And so I distinctively remember deciding, okay, I'm going to take away this bubble that I used to protect myself, and I'm going to step into be less transactional, more relational. And what does that look like? It's hard. But I also know in my mastery, I'm learning things that are helping me be better at it. And that's where the work comes in, And so, yeah, the responsibility is scary, but I promise you the blessings way outweigh the responsibility, and the joy that you feel. You can't buy that.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And so the flip side of that, though, is can you have the wrong purpose? So in the sense that, for example, let me clarify. Somebody might believe that their purpose is to go and eradicate certain races. What do you say to that? To that kind of purpose? Can you have the wrong purpose?
So here's the thing I know. If we're all thinking about, again, go back to we have the breath of God in us, right? And God has a purpose for everything. And the God that I believe in is a loving God, meaning it will not call you on this planet to destroy its own thing. We are all created from God. So if there's somebody that's like, my purpose is to destroy, no, that's already not God. That's already just, it's not. If it brings harm to you and others, it's not. There's no. Because purpose by itself is usually beneficial to other people and you.
I love it.
So if it's something that's destructive, it's just not. That's destructive energy that you need to figure out how to understand and release.
Yeah, I love it. That is exactly the difference. That's how you know when you're on the wrong track or not.
Yeah.
And so on the other side of the equation, we talked about passion. And so I would love to hear your advice to members of myself who are part of the slash gang. What do I mean by slash gang? We have multiple passions.
That's right.
We're scatterbrained on a bad day. Some people think we're flaky. Some people think we're unfocused. But yeah, it just makes sense to us though. It just makes sense. And when I found out there's a word called multi-passionate, I was just like, oh, Jesus, there is a word for me. There's a tribe out there. But what would you say, just knowing the scope of your work, knowing that purpose, what is your advice to how do we not look like we're flaky, unfocused, not scatterbrained, because we have all these multiple passions?
Yeah. So because I am a multi-passionate entrepreneur who is clear on her purpose. So that's the difference, right? And so the first advice I would give you is to take a deep breath. You're okay. The multiple things that you know is so that, and that's the thing we talked about earlier, is like you're still connecting your dots. That might be where you are. You might be on level 7. You need to get to level 7, but you're still on 3 because you have things to learn at each stage. So when you get to that point, you can decide. Now, here's the thing. Here's the part that you have to this is the discipline part. Here's the part you have to consider. You have to give yourself some frame of, I have to make a decision at this time. If not, your thoughts will run you and you'll be like, about to vacate this earth feeling like I did not live my purpose. So you have to decide. That's where free will comes in. It's okay to have multiple passions and learn. And one of the things I've learned thank God, earlier as an entrepreneur, that I want multiple passionate entrepreneurs to consider is, whenever you are going through your season of something new that you're passionate about, it is important that when you're exiting it, when you're exiting it, that you sit down and think about, what did I learn from this process?
I like that.
Sit down and when I say sit down, I mean literally stop. You're like, okay, you are into event planning for like 9-10 months, and you're like, okay, it's running out. It's not giving you the energy you need. It's not inspiring you. It's not motivating you. The question you now sit down and ask is, okay, this season of this passion is wrapping up. what have I learned? Because what that sauce is and what you learn is probably what you're going to need for
Mm.
when you get to that purpose line number 7,
Wow.
which is what I've literally personally been through that. That's what I'm saying. The things I learned from modeling. I'm like, why am I? That doesn't make sense. Modeling and you're in P, like, well, for what? It was fun. It was great. I got to wear fancy clothes, but there's so much I learned from creatives that I work with that I'm using now for my clients. I'm like, nah, that makes sense now. But when I was doing it, it was like, Yetunde, you're doing too many things. You're modeling, you're doing this, you're doing that. It's like, I was like, and I didn't, thank God I had a mom that just let me fly. And I'm like, as
Mm.
long as she's okay with it, I don't care about anybody, what anybody else thinks. So I got to play. And that's what most people stop themselves from doing, because there's things you're going to need to learn in your playtime that you need for your purpose.
Mm.
Let them talk. The discipline you have to have is you have to come to a point where at some point you decide. And when you're exiting one passion to another, write down, what is the essence that I gained from this? Like, literally take your time, sit down and think. We don't have thinking time anymore. Sit down, think, write it down. Because I'm telling you, chances are when you get to station number 7, you're going to be like, that's why I went through that in stage 3. Got it.
Mm.
Take it.
Mm.
But now you've documented it. So you have the essence that you can take with you when you get to point 7.
I
So
love
don't
it.
stress out about having multiple passions. Use all the things you're learning as you're helping your clients as you go through your journey. You, however, have to be disciplined enough to decide at some point to get clear so that you're multi passionate with one purpose. And so now I get to do all the things I love, but I'm clear on what I'm supposed to do. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes a lot of sense. And anyone listening, that was just a little snippet of what you get in a session with me today right there. You can thank me later for that. All right. So you've worked with I don't even know 700 plus entrepreneurs and counting.
Mhm,
We're not even going to. I'm sure. Yeah, we're just going to start from there.
mhm.
What is the common misconception or common reasons from people? People don't step into their purpose, or like what prevents them from getting to their purpose?
The one thing I've seen consistently for the last 120 years of my career in PR, 13 years as a business owner, is the one thing that's been consistent is that everybody's expecting this thing to be some rocket science.
Mm,
Angels coming down to sing that this is your thing moment. Every single person, except for the ones that are like, okay, they have an idea. Every single person expects it to be this like disco ball drops down, is like, whoa, we found your everybody sing it. It's like, yeah, no. That's the one thread line. It's like, and realizing
wow.
that God is simple. And so the thing that you've been called to do, it's probably gonna be simple. And
Mm,
so people are usually underwhelmed about how
mm.
simple it is and disappointed. And
It's
sometimes
simple. It's
overwhelmed, but
simple relative to you, though, not necessarily to anybody else. It's simple relative to you, right?
yes, relative to you
Yes.
exactly,
Okay.
to the person that they like, for them it's like, oh, this is too simple. But I'm like telling you, nobody can do it the way you can.
Mm,
Nobody. There's stuff you know how to do, Lola, that I can never. As in, I'm coming to you. I'm not even bothering because it's easy for you, and it's supposed to be. And so part of I feel like my messenger God level message here is teaching people to accept simplicity, love themselves for it, and step into that purpose so that they can feel confident and secure in the thing that they've been called to do, and they can do it. Because once you get past that distraction of it's not rocket science, and you're like, okay, simple. Oh my God. That's why I said the work is in the mastery.
mm.
Because it's simple. If you're looking for work to do, don't worry. There's work to do in that mastery. And
Right.
so that's the underlining thread, is everybody expects this to be this huge epiphany, mind-blowing thing, and then it's not, and they're underwhelmed, and so they go around. Still, I have some people that they go around trying to look for that bigger thing,
Mm,
knowing clearly that this is the other thing I'm supposed to be doing, but they're looking for that bigger thing, and then they come back to it. It's like,
mm.
okay, just accept and acknowledge, and then move from there, because the awesomeness that you're looking for happens after you step into it. And I'm telling you, as someone who's living it, whoo,
Wow.
I cannot explain it to you. You have to be, I cannot, because it's joy. That's the 3-letter word that I can explain to you. The joy that you would feel, because that's not, it's happy, happiness and joy are different. Joy
Right.
is like on a soul spirit level, it's just joy. That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. I love everything you just said. And actually I think it's a good way to even think. I mean, okay, I'm taking that all in. I'm just taking it all in. So bear with me. because
I'm
there's a
with
lot
you.
of
I'm with you. I'm
good
with you.
pieces in there. Um, so it's simple. I mean, that is in itself in the message, there's a humility in that.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
a humility in that
yeah,
statement. I think that's why I'm just trying to process that.
yeah.
Um,
Mm,
for anyone listening right now,
mm.
what are the one or two things that they could just do to just start that process for themselves?
You know, check out that article in Forbes. So go to
Okay.
Forbes.com and Google my article, because that was it. I was so grateful that they got to share, because I had three different articles that we submitted, and that was the one that I was like, this is my work, and I hope that this is the one that lands. This is what I do. And so it's like, three, how do you get radically clear? And so the first step is just do a brain dump. Start there. Do a complete brain dump. And brain dump means take a piece of paper and write down literally everything coming to your brain. Get it
Mm.
out. I need to go to the store. Put it down. I love dancing. Put it down. I like planning events. Put it down. But I enjoy connecting people more. Write it all down. And then you're gonna sort it out. Read that article. It's a good breakdown of how to sort through what your purpose is, what you're skilled at, and what you need to learn. Different things. And so I think what happens is people confuse the means of their purpose with their purpose. So
Mm.
your purpose might be you're really good at connecting people. Like you have an eye for bringing the right people together, and magic happens and great deals are made, but you're busy being an event planner. You're caught up in the details of event planning instead of connecting with people. You're busy back there arranging, you know what I mean? And
Right.
so the means is event planning. The purpose is to connect people. If you're
Right.
clear on that, you just happen to use events to connect people.
I like that.
That's how you need to think about it. It's like it's a very simple process. And so I break that down in the article. And so start with a brain dump, put it all out in your head, and then sort it out in that order.
Yeah, no, I love that. And we'll definitely include the link to the Forbes article
Yeah.
too in the show notes. And then you've also been busy. And I would say you've been busy creating what I call a gift. At least that's what I'm calling it personally. It's this organizer called the Purposeful Branding Organizer. I
Yeah.
got that right, right? Okay.
Yeah. Purposeful. Yeah.
Yes.
Purposeful personal branding organizer.
I'm not even gonna say wow. I'm actually gonna call it. I was thinking about this because I got one. I purchased one,
Mhm.
and I purchased one for multiple reasons. One, I'm an organizer junkie, but two, I'd gone through your personal branding session, so I was actually very curious to see what is inside
Mhm.
this gift, like I'm calling it. And wow wasn't the word because I think wow it doesn't do it justice. I call it accessible impact, and the
Wow.
reason why,
Yeah, I'm
yes.
totally taking that. I love that word.
Don't
Accessible
worry.
impact. What?
You can accessible impact because not everyone's going to be able to do a session, but this
Mm,
is like they can just start with this organizer. And as someone who's attended a session with you, I went through it.
mhm.
I was just amazed by how much work you put in there. I love quotes, so there are quotes everywhere. So that was just like, yeah, she's speaking my language. But there was also a section, there were multiple sections, but one of my favorite sections was actually capturing the best you.
Yeah.
And it's not even because for vanity reasons. It's not because you're an former model telling us tips on how to do professional photos, but it was because you wrote it from the lens of being a PR professional, from being a certified NLP coach,
Yeah.
and it was all encapsulated in this section that anybody who just gets all you need to do is get this organizer and you're good. I mean, there's also a section about clarity, purpose clarity. That
Mhm.
actually is the first section in the book. I could go on and on, but I guess I want to hear from you why you created this organizer.
Ooh, I just got goosebumps, because I feel like this is one of those things I was telling my husband a few days ago, that what, if I exit this planet, I'm good, because I feel like I've taken a lot of the experience that I've learned that people need to step fully into their purpose, and I've done
Mm,
it in a way that is practical, that is impact focused, but also literally it feels personalized. Like the questions are you talking to yourself. I write the questions in such a way that is you asking yourself questions, but in a way that taps into your subconscious. And that's where my expertise as an NLP coach comes in, because I get to use all of that. And so the journey of putting this together, and the reason I put this together is like I wanted to figure out a way to make it practical and fun and easy to get
mhm,
to know yourself.
mhm.
And how can you show up in the world with your purpose in a way that you can brand it the way that works for you? Because everybody's out here, and that's my line in the sand. Everybody's out here telling you, okay, do it this way, do it that way, do it, pick this color, pick that. I'm just like, no, let's everybody stop. I'm like, everybody stop. Let this person decide how they want to show up. That is comfortable for them, but is also beneficial to those they serve. And here's the difference, because a lot of coaches always say, give your customers what they want, give your clients what they want. I'm like, I'm half and half on that. Because I'm like, give your customers what they want that you also enjoy.
Right.
Because that's why you're going to show up consistently.
Mm.
And you need that consistency so that they can keep showing up and supporting you. You can keep doing the work that you enjoy, and it's a win-win. It's a go. That's
I
how
love
you.
that. I love that.
And so that's why I really put this together, because I wanted something practical that entrepreneurs who are ready, like who just you're called for something bigger, and you are overwhelmed by all this information out in this world. You're overwhelmed by God knows how many courses I've taken and how many organizers we have. And I'm like, all right, let's just get to no fluff. I don't know how to do fluff. It's all essence. Like, and the way I teach, you literally learn the essence of the thing so that you understand content, period. It's not, okay, content on social media. You're like, no, you literally understand the idea of content that you can apply across the board. And
Yes.
so my teaching in the organizer is the same way.
Yes.
How do you tap into public relations? How do you understand PR in its essence so that you can apply it? If you decide to start a food truck tomorrow, you already understand it. You don't
Right.
need a new course. And so the organizer teaches you the essence of each step that you need to launch and specifically a purpose-centered. So it cannot be, I just want to make money, I'm going to use this. That you're going to get stuck, because this planner is for this organizer specifically for people who are like, all right, I know I have a purpose and I want to be on that path.
Yes.
And that's why I created this, because I'm like, people need something straight to the point, no fluff, practical, that would get them the results that they need, that is personalized for who they are and who they're meant to serve, and make a ton of money while you're doing it.
Love it. Love it. And I think, like I said, accessible impact, it is well organized. It oozes of your personality. It is just, it's a gift. That's why I couldn't call it an organizer. It's a gift because, and I called it was a word that popped in my head when I went through it.
Impact. I love that.
Accessible impact. Yes. So I guess we're gonna switch gears now and go into the lightning round.
Okay.
So we can wrap up.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, but before we do that, I have to check one thing here.
Yes.
So you went to boarding school in Nigeria.
Yes.
Which high school do you rep?
Model College.
Which one?
Yeah, Igbokuta.
No way. I went to Cancun.
Yeah.
It's not every day. I've been a lot of QCs on this podcast, but this is great. Another model college person.
Last call. Yep.
Yes. Awesome. All right. So questions. We're going to lightning round. What was the last thing you learned? And it could be anything.
I learned that I can access my alpha state faster than I can imagine.
That's awesome. Your greatest fear
is that I would not have an impact in this world.
Wow. What do you consider your greatest achievement?
Ooh. Oh, that one is hard. Because there's so many different levels, but greatest achievements, I would say deciding on our honeymoon to trust God completely. No questions asked. That was it.
That is deep. Okay. Yeah. I was not expecting that. That's awesome. What matters most to you?
It matters that, I get emotional when I think about this. It matters to me that just people just live their purpose. It matters to me that more people step into their purpose, because this world needs to be better. And it can't be better if we're not in alignment.
Love that. Oh, that made me teary. Woo! All right. What is your motto? A word you live by?
No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Eleanor Roosevelt.
We are on a roll here. See, another quote, people, I'm telling you, sound bites. It's just the blessings. All right. 3 words you would use to describe you, the Kadara woman.
Ooh. Confident, loving, and purposeful.
Love it. Love it. Thank you. Your thoughts on destiny.
Mm. Thoughts on destiny is that you have free will, and you get to decide on completing your destiny.
I love how simple that is, and it's so true, and I resonate with that. Um, Yetunde, this has been awesome.
Oh,
I love the way you shared. I think the listeners are going to learn so much from you. So, can you share where they can just connect with you right now?
I hang out on Instagram as
Yes, she
Yetunde
does.
Shorters.
Sorry, go ahead.
I hang out on Instagram as Yetunde Shorters, all one word combined. But my website is yetundeshorters.com, and I'm
Perfect.
pretty accessible.
Perfect. And we're definitely going to add all of that to the show notes. Yetunde, thank you so much for sharing today. It means a lot to me that you are going to be the launch of this podcast. And I'm saying that in the recording, so it's not going to be edited. um, Everything that I needed you to do, you did. And I just appreciate you for that.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I was not expecting to get all teary-eyed, but yeah, that people step into their purpose is like it's the reason I wake up in the morning. And I call my mom sometimes crying in my car.
Mm,
And she's like, "What's happening?" I was like, I said it's so simple. Just more people need to get it. And I'm like, and it
mm,
reminds me I have to do my part, because people think it's complicated and it's not. And I'm like, this world would be better. This world would be so much better if we just stepped into the thing that you're called for. And it's supposed to be simple. Stop expecting it to be complicated. And if you just stepped into that, I promise you, you would be happier. Those you love would be happier. And we can all be happy and just have a better world. And so I have to do my part to make sure that happens. So
yeah.
I was not
And
expecting to get a teary-eyed, ma'am. Thank you, love.
I'm sorry, but it means that it was coming from, it was spirit led.
Thank you. I appreciate you recognizing and inviting me to your space. Whoever this message is for, again, I'm very clear that I only attract certain people. So
Mm.
whoever this message lands with is who I'm supposed to work with. I'm very clear on that. I've been clear. So again, my 40 people, that's who I focus.
But that
So
is,
whoever this lands with, who resonates on a soul level that I'm supposed to work with, I'm supposed to work with. And so I'm looking forward to them.
isn't it? There's clarity in every single thing you said. Clarity, like there's this crystal clear, which is just amazing. And you can only pray to have that in your life, regardless of whatever it is you're doing, 9 to 5, side hustle, whatever. You just
Yeah.
pray for clarity because that is tied to peace of mind.
Yeah, who you telling? Once you know, that's what I'm saying. That's
Mm,
why the organizer is important, because it gives you the clarity so that you can be confident in doing what you need to do. And that reduces your fear. When you know what you're supposed to do, you're
mm,
less fearful. And so I'm sharing with you what you need to do so that the fear is moving out of the way, so that confidence steps in and you can step into it in a way that feels good, doesn't feel any type of way. It feels just like, I know my stuff, and you show up
yeah.
that way.
Even if just one person just hears what you just said, I think it's
Girl,
gonna have the impact. And
yeah.
yes, accessible impact was the word that came to me, just so
Mm,
you know.
I love it. Yeah.
Accessible impact. Yes,
Yeah.
that was what came to my spirit. The branding, marketing, everything inside, it came out in those two
I love
words.
it. I love it. I love it. Well,
Yes.
this was fun. Thank you for having me, and thank you for the mental acrobatics. It was fun. I love,
Yeah, I
um,
try not to tell you too much before then, so it's organic.
yeah,
But
it's
thank
good.
you.
I love thinking and talking with you. That was fun.
Thank you for listening to both parts of my conversation with Yetunde Shorters. I hope you got some useful bits about how to think through mastering your thoughts and applying the spotlight analogy to yourself. And if you'd like a copy of her personal brand organizer that she uses with her clients, be sure to sign up for our mailing list to get the special code for our listeners. All the details will be in the show notes. One more favor, please be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to your favorite podcast so you don't miss an episode. You can also follow us on social media at Kadara Woman. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave me a rating so that we, yes, all of us, can continue to collectively amplify these untold African women stories. Thanks for listening. Until the next episode, stay inspired as you figure out the next best move to live your radically destined life. This podcast was created, produced, and recorded by Lola Harris and sound edited by Mo Isu. The Kadara Woman podcast is a production of Kadara Media.